Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. So we are starting a new build series. We're doing a build series on the all-new Bronco by AMT, the 2021 first edition Bronco, that is. So this looks like a really nice builder. Just did an unboxing on this. This model come from Hobby to Model, so go down to his website, check it out, and get yourself one. Like I say, he also has all the new Ford line paints down there, the new colors they have. So very cool. A lot of cool stuff there. Anyways, we're going to start this from start to finish. Like I said, just did an unboxing on this, and we're going to go through some of the parts, see if we can get sub-assembly, some things cleaned up, and get some things into some primer, and we'll go from there. So let's take it over the bench, and let's get started on this and see how this AMT kit builds out. See if we got any fitment issues or anything like that. We will soon find out. So let's go to the bench and get started on it. Alright guys, we're going to get started on that Bronco build. So I like to set all the parts out and see what we get. Like I say, just did an unboxing on this to show you what we have in the kit. So I like to start out by just taking everything out and seeing what we got. And seeing what I can pre-assemble before we paint anything. This way here we're not, having to scrape paint. I am a super glue guy. I know a lot of guys, the proper way is to scrape paint, go that route. But for me personally, I just do the super glue over top of the paint. Yes, I know it's only as strong as the paint is to the body, but me personally, I've not yet have issues with that. And I've built a gazillion models over the years by doing this method. And it's worked for me so far, but that's me. Like I say, you guys can do how you choose to do it on your model. That's just the way I go. So like I say, we're going to try to do some sub-assembly on some things. Obviously, we can put the seats together before we paint and some pieces like that. And we can get a lot of these trim pieces. We got the speakers. We can install them or put them together and get them in paint and do a few items like that and get some stuff cleaned up. So we're going to start getting some of these pieces off and get it separated. This first video is always kind of that first day of school. We're just talking about what we're going to do. And then we're going to go from there, what's going to happen, and all this stuff. So it's not the most exciting video out of the series. I get that. But, you got to have some direction. You got to have some point of interest. Like, where are we going with this thing? Just so we're all on the same page. So that's what we're going to do, guys. So I'm going to get a few of these things knocked out, and we'll get some stuff glued together, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys, so looking at our map, we don't actually have a lot of pre-assembly on this. Most of it's just going to be paint as we go. So we have our seats we can pre-assemble. We can put the axle pretty much together, and we can put our transfer case onto the transmission. That looks about it. Other than that, it's going to be paint, and assembly as we go. So that's pretty much the gist of it. So there's not a lot of pre-assembly here. It's more just paint and go. There's not a ton of parts in this kit. I should have looked earlier to see too. So we can put our bumper together. We can do our mirrors, and we can do, like say, those seats and the transmission pieces. We can probably put all this together because I believe this is all black, and then the roll bar top part will be body color. So we will start on that and go from there. Like I say, we have our transfer case. So nothing else here, but we can take all this off because we're going to get everything into some paint piles here so we know who can get painted what. All that good stuff. Get some stuff cleaned up. Go from there. So this plastic's actually pretty thick, so you definitely want to use nippers to cut it. I believe these are rockers that goes along the bottom. So like I said, we're just going to cut most of the stuff off here and get this out of the way. So I'm just kind of curious on how the fit is going to be on this. So nice looking kit so far, but AMT went a little heavy on the injection pins. So you got that guy right there. I mean, that's a pretty thick hit right there. So looking at the rear axle, I'll see how that actually fits in there. So yeah, that big chunk's got to come out of there. Okay, let's see. At least eliminate some of it here. That's a big chunk right there. I did too pretty good. Okay guys, per our instructions, I heard you assemble that interior first. So we're going to do that. And also we're going to assemble that transfer case and get that assembled along with the bottom part of that transmission. Also going to be putting the axle together on step number 6. So like I say, most of my builds, I do jump around a lot. I don't stick to the game plan chart, just because most of my builds kind of go around the paint. So we're using our Tamiya thin on this. It's kind of just my glue of choice. We'll put a clamp on that, hold that in place for us while it's drying. Now I got that clamp, we'll throw a little extra glue on it just to seal the deal. Around the headrest here. So I don't want to do a lot because we don't want to mark it all up and make it look goofy. So we're going to set that off to the side for another day. And we got our back seat. So this piece is going to sit in like so. So now on your real seats, these pieces are black. They're plastic. Actually, this whole back piece you could actually do in black. We'll get the rear axle. Oh, sorry, we'll get our transfer case together. So these are pretty much the only thing we're going to be able to glue together before we get painting things. So it should be pretty quick that way. Okay, so we got the axle together. We'll just get this bumper on here. That's very nice. A little trimming here to do. So as long as you get that trimmed up real nice, that sits in a really good, nice positive feel there. Let's get some glue on that. We're going to put this on and we're going to let it sit for the night, and we're going to wrap this up. I'll let these parts cure and we'll go from there. Like I said, it sits on there really good. Alright guys, so I got a new mat. Yes sir. Figured, you know what? It was time. So moving on to our build project on that Bronco. So like I say, before I get starting on too many projects, I like to do reference, either Google, other than that, but you know what? I also like to get car brochures if they're available. So this is a newer Bronco. Yes, I know it's a 2021, but this is a 2022 book. I think I do have a 21 here because when it first came out, I snagged a couple of them. But this will work. So this is nice reference books. And yes, I know you can go online and whatever, you can get all that information on there, but I'm old school, I guess. I like to have something a paper I can hold in my hand. That way, if I want to just prop it up and use it for, something to look at, I don't have to worry about flipping through a computer screen or whatever like that. So for me, it's just a little easier. Anyways, moving on. So I see our decals. You have your different options in this Bronco. Being this decal here, this is the first edition decal, which obviously this book is a 22, so it's not going to have that decal in there. But that being said, kind of looking through the book here, like I say, it gives you kind of your options. Plus it lets you know like what color is going to look pretty good on this, So this is basically us right here. Pretty much the same thing. Gives you nice pictures of the detail on the grill and all that good stuff. So like I say, I like referring to this stuff sometimes just to figure things out. So especially this here, looking at this here, this model has a lot of nice detail underneath of it. So we get our Bilstein shocks here. They got coilovers, which are all black. The shock's yellow. You have your gas tank, and that's a steel. So it's kind of like a semi-gloss. Looks like the frame's semi-gloss. So you have your blue or body color, whatever type, is going to be showing through that frame. So that's good information right there. You also have your 10-hour transmission. So we have our black plastic oil pan. And like I say, so you get your steel drive shaft, aluminum, just all here and there. And if you want to go fancy and all out, you could put heat shields underneath there. I watched a few videos a while back, guys were doing that, and I thought, that's a pretty good idea if you really want to detail it out. And then you get your lower aluminum control arms, and those are really bright aluminum, so even like a mica silver or something like that would look really good on that. So once again, just really good reference looking through some of this stuff. Like I say, this is the Area 51 color, so this is the color I'm doing my vehicle in. So this should look pretty good, and we have that color there once again. This one's just a soft top. So like I say, it looks pretty good. You know, just with that, with the top off in it. Like I say, if somebody really wanted to go through, they could take and remove the door, or even open up that top so you can have like a T-top style roof on it, kind of like the show here. Or you can cut it back even further, or just take it right off. So I give you a little bit of insight on the inside of the interior. So on a lot of these Broncos, they have like a color matched setup on here. I can't remember what all colors this comes in, but this is like they come in like a blue, an orange, I think a red, and I think I've seen gray. And they run that color theme throughout the whole interior, so it's kind of cool to see that. So you see this handle here, so they get the side grab handle. And the vehicle may not even be orange. It could be black, or it just depends on what color option you decide. They're also going to come with orange stitching and all that good stuff. So yeah, so you get a good picture of the dash. Like I say, most of these dashes, I don't care what style of vehicle is, they're all the same color dash. So you got your, was it like a carbonized gray, I think they call it up top. And once again, if you have the orange, you can see there's orange inside the vents if you really want to detail that dash out. All that good stuff. Looks really good in white. All that fun stuff there. So yes, like I say, this is just good information just to have. Like I say, I like sorting through this stuff. So this is cool here. So you get your exterior colors, your interior colors, and then you have your wheels. So in our kit, here's our wheels. So obviously it looks like we have wheel H. So wheel H is a wide track package, 17. The Badlands ran this wheel here with the trimmer on the outside of it, and the Sasquatch package had this wheel here. So these are the basically the beadlock compatible wheels. So yeah. So it looks like that's our wheel there. So like I say, you can tell it's just solid black. Looking at what we have here. And other than that, I think that's in the book. That's it. Just a bunch of jargon. Oh, we got our old school Bronco there. Very nice, very nice. So yeah. So other than that, I'm going to start gluing some stuff together and see what we got. Alright guys, so we got some of the stuff glued together. Yes. So I'll get this apart. Now we can take some of the stuff and go over and get it painted. So we got our axle together, and we have this piece, and this piece, and these pieces. So we got a lot of pieces that needs to be painted pretty much right away. So I got to do a little more trimming and cleanup on some of the stuff. Another seat here. I'm debating on the interior. I'm thinking about just going with the black interior on this one. I think it looked good with the Area 51 color. So as you've seen in the brochure, the dealership brochure, so I can actually take my body color and paint a little bit on the side here, because you can see that was through that on the bottom. And the rest of that's going to get painted black. So it should look pretty good. And I might even put some of that, I might put some of this down here for the exhaust, some of the heat shield, and I could probably just use bare metal foil for that. That would probably look alright. Like I was saying, they got body color here. Actually, it's body color all along through there, so I might just paint the underneath this, my Area 51 color, and go from there. But it's not a true full body color, you can tell. But maybe that's what we'll do, is we'll shoot the underneath of it as well. Just see how it's going to look. So we're going to start separating some parts here, and we're going to get the body and primer, and then we're going to do is let that sit. So I like to do is let the body sit overnight after you primer it. Even if you try to bake it or whatever, I don't know what it is. Primer just doesn't play well if you just rush it. So I find spray it and then forget it. You know, just leave it. Leave it sit overnight, let it gas out, whatever it's got to do. I don't care if it's aerosol, airbrush, whatever you use. For what I've found, it's better just to leave it sit. Because if you decide to thinking, hey, I'm going to primer it, and then come back like a couple hours later and then start painting, you're going to get like little dull spots, almost like the primer hasn't flashed yet. You know, it's still trying to gas out. That's what I found. So let's take that with a grain of salt and run with that, I guess. But that's what's been with me. I don't know. I'm thinking about black interior, but I really do like the gray. Or maybe I'll even two-tone it. So maybe I'll go that route. I'm not sure yet. But okay, guys, so we're getting the parts all separated out and doing some sub-assembly. So for sub-assembly wise, put the mirrors together. So I got them all done. So before we get them painted, and we're putting the rear speakers together. So I did put the rear piece on the console, because the console is going to be satin black, and then this is going to be the color of the seats, which I'm going to do the seats in German gray. I think that'll look pretty nice. So this is a Tamiya LP27. That'll look pretty sharp. And then we're going to run everything else in pretty much the satin black, or I'm sorry, the semi-gloss black. This is going to be a Tamiya LP5. So I've been kind of sorting parts out. Like I said, this big pile, everything's going to be black. Same with this. It's going to be all black. So the floorboards, everything's going to be black. So before I get started too far on it, I'm going to finish putting these speakers together and get them in there. So I pretty much just got my pile separated here. This is kind of like the gray color, the dash, steering wheel, all that's going to be gray. And I got body color over here. All the stuff's in body color, along with the body, obviously. And then I got some silver pieces, some aluminum, some steel. And then my gloss pieces over here. And this is my flat, or my semi-gloss black pile. So there's one thing on this kit. It's all right. I mean, there's a lot of it is like heavy flash. I shouldn't really say flash. It's more of where they put your injector pins. I mean, it's really, really heavy. So kind of for here, for instance, I left this on here just so I could paint it. But you can see how heavy that is. So you got to nip it from the side, but still it's a lot of filing and sanding. And the plastic is soft, so I find it's harder to just try to trim it with a knife. So I've been taking a sanding stick and just kind of cleaning the edges up. So you have your little speakers in the back. The problem I've been running in is that where they put your ejection pins, your mold pins, it's almost, you got to cut the side, but you also got to cut the top here, if I can hold on to it. So the injection, like the mold pin will come along here, and you have to trim that down to make that fit nice in here. So I've been going through and just taking and sanding this along the way to make that fit a little snug. Just to get that a nice fit. And a lot of the edges here have some kind of bird edges. So if you want it to look nice or anything like that, you're going to have to do a little sanding and working on it. Kind of surprised for a newer kit. It's got a lot of kind of, not really so much rough edges, but you got to do a little bit of work on it to, and yeah, it's a model, I get it. But you have to do a little bit of work on it to make it look nice for fit and finish wise. So see how rough that is right there? There was a pin there. So I tried to cut that out there with my nippers, but you still have to file it to get it to sit smooth. And you can see right here, a little flash right there. There's a lot of this out of many parts. So you just got to kind of pay attention to it and see what has it and what don't. And like I say, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's a model. And I know a lot of you guys enjoy cutting flash off. I mean, it's, for me, it's not my favorite, but it is part of modeling. So, I mean, it's all right. So there's a little bit right there. We can see that, little line right there. So it's just little spots like that. So I find you really can't hit it with an X-Acto knife because it'll just eat right in the plastic and away you go. So I find the sanding stick works the best for this kit. But yeah, you really got to inspect it to, there's a little spot right here. And this here, this is supposed to be black. But I know like on Raptors and all kinds of things, this is actually like a cool looking, oh, I don't know what you want to call it, like a stainless look. So I think I'm going to paint this on there just to give that little extra look. I think that looked pretty cool. And the other thing I got thinking after I was doing this, I put the bumper together. So I got this together, I put the roll bar on there. And I got thinking, you know, I almost like it better without the roll bar. But I would have had to fill this bumper in because they give you 2 big notches to put that bumper in. The kit kind of reminds me of a snap tight to a point. Kind of like little snap tights you glue together or whatnot. Very thick plastic with heavy dominant pieces to snap, you know, to put pieces in just like this here, which is okay. Like I say, it's a nice kit. It does go together nice so far. It has been a pretty good build at this point. Other than that, like I say, there's a lot of cleanup on it. That's the only thing. So in step 14, this piece here, I'm just mocking it in. So I'm just using these here to hold it in. They want you to glue these on, is what it looks like in the picture, and then put this in here. I mean, that's what it looks like in the illustration, but obviously you're going to want to put that in first. And you can see this slides in here, and this tab here is going to sit along the edge of this. So it sits like so. So what I'm going to do is paint this first. It sits like that. And then I'll glue it in once it's painted, because if I try gluing it in there, I'll never know how it sits. Of course, the instruction could just be referring to, you know, these are going to go here while you install it. So just kind of pay attention to that if you guys are building one. Other than that, should be about it. I appreciate you tuning in, and we're going to wrap video up number 1 on our Bronco build series and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you guys following along, and like I say, pick one of these bad boys up, and so far it's pretty decent. Like I mentioned before, there's some flash on, but you know, that is part of modeling, you know, that is. But for me, it's not a favorite part for me, you know. I know some guys love it, but I don't tolerate, it's okay. I don't mind it. It's just, it's not my favorite, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. But it's okay. Like I say, it's all fun of the model building and all that good stuff. So like I say, if you want it to look nice, as I mentioned before in other videos, these are the things you need to do. So other than that, like I say, you guys doing one, just pay attention to your parts, make sure they're clean, and there's no like weird edging on it, because a lot of these parts that I've been noticing have like a, just like right here, there's a little edge right there, and I've been finding the sanding sticks work really good just for taking down that little edge real easy, versus trying to nip it with some knife or something like that, because the knife just seems to be a little too aggressive for that little corner, and you're making a little divot in there a little further than you want to go. So cool deal, guys. Once again, appreciate you watching and checking out the channel, and I will see you guys on the next build. You guys have a good one.